everybody, this is Heather Sides. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Spokane, Washington. Come to you every Wednesday night with 3 card ideas. Sometimes there's a project in there, but usually cards. And once a month I come to you on a Saturday night, like tonight, with alternate ideas for that month's paper pumpkin kit. This month's kit is adorable. It is also designed to go with an entire suite of products that we have in our January through April mini catalog. And I'll show you those other pieces as well in case you're unfamiliar with them. But it is a set that I absolutely love. So when I saw that the paper pumpkin kit was going to coordinate with it, I was so excited to dig in and play. And I hope you like what we have tonight. I'm sure you will. So let's see, we'll give it a minute for people to find us. And while we're doing that, I'm just gonna log in on my computer so that I can see your comments on my monitor. And I do encourage you to participate in the conversation. That certainly makes it more fun. It makes it a little more like a community. Talk to each other, talk to me, ask questions, anything like that. And even if you're watching this on a replay, I love it when you at least say hello. Tell me where you're from. I'd love to see where my reach is. It's just kind of fun to see it all over the place. You know how like some people will take pins and mark on a map where they've traveled or whatever. It's kind of the same idea for me, only I don't really pin it, but I do have fun with it. I enjoy that. So be sure to, at the very least, say hello. Okay, so let's see here, pulling up my screen. And it looks good. Put it on mute so you only have to listen to me once. Hey, Robin, Carla, welcome. I am very excited about this month's kit. I know I already said that, but it's just such a fun kit. And those of you who follow me and have watched me on Wednesday nights, you know that I've used the coordinating set a handful of times already because it's just so cute and I love it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my camera turned around and we can go ahead and get started. I wanna show you a little bit about what's involved in the kit, tell you about next month's kit, and then we're gonna get going on making this month's cards. How did that sound? All right, hang on. Whoops, my finger's in the way there. Let's see. Okay. Hey, Kathy, welcome. Okay. I'm trying something a little different right now where I zoomed in my camera just a little bit more, but that means you don't see all the way to the bottom of my screen. And so if I'm doing stuff too low, make sure you let me know that you can't see so that I move stuff up further, okay? So let's talk about paper pumpkin. All right, so this month's kit, let's see here. This month's kit is absolutely adorable. And in your kit, you always get a sheet of instructions. They do not come pre-chewed like this. You have to chew them yourself or get a dog who takes off with them and chews them for you. I happen to have the dog who, you know, enjoys eating my stamping stuff. So, yeah, she's a big help. Hey, Sharon, welcome. So anyway, this month's kit came with, let me kind of give you a close-up of all the stuff that came in this fun kit. Let's see here, here's a good shot. So you can see you got some card fronts, and these were peekaboo card fronts, which means you'll see, but there's pieces cut out of the front for you to do something behind it to peekaboo through there. You got your envelopes, you got some acrylic dots, you've got a Stampin' Spot, you've got some adhesives like dimensionals and glue dots, your stamps, of course, which I'll show you in a minute. You get dies. Paper Pumpkin, if you are not subscribed already, is great because it includes everything that you need to make the kit except for your scissors. Hey, Nell, welcome. So they make great gifts for people, for one, who maybe don't have a lot of stamping supplies because they don't need anything. And most people already have a pair of scissors. So these are a lot of fun. And I'll show you the stamps in this month's kit. You've got to start this way. You've got some flowers, got a little kite with the string, a sun, a cute little frog there, and a few sentiments. You've got, you brighten my day, friends in any kind of weather, wishing you sunshine and smiles, and a teeny, teeny, tiny little hello. And then one thing Stampin' Up! Offered that they have not done before is they offered coordinating dies. And I know like this, you look at them and you go, yeah, what on earth would those cut out? Well, the dies actually cut out these flowers and the frog. Now, they did sell out right away. They went really, really fast. So I'm pointing that out to you because in the future, if Stampin' Up! Does that again and you see that and you want those dies, I really do encourage you to order them right away. Even if you don't have your paper pumpkin kit yet, order the dies right away. Because like I said, they sold out really fast and they were only like $6.95. So it wasn't a bad price at all. So that's what the kit came with this month. And I'll show you the cards. If you have not watched one of my paper pumpkin kit alternative ideas videos before, what I do is I start out by making the cards that the kit is intended to make. So I make one of each of them. Then I make 3 that we can make together, that I can show you how I made them. And then I just, depending on how much time allows, I make some extras just to show you some extra additional ideas. So this month's kit, so cute. These little envelopes, they all look the same. And so I decorated all of them the same. And I decorated my envelope. The reason I decorated my envelopes the same is because I wanted to stick with just the products that were in the kit, so that you could see some ideas, you know, what you could do with just the kit. So mine all have little sunshines, but here are the cards. These are so adorable. I mean, look at that little duck. Is he not adorable? And the peekaboo, when you open the card, see there's the rainbow. But when the card's closed, you can see it as well. So there's one. Then you've got this one with the little hillside and flowers and the sun. You've got the little bunny with his kite. And that's the inside. And then finally, the third card got a little bit of rain here. And isn't that cute? And the little acrylic dots that come with the kit, some are just, they're round pink like that. And then some were this blue raindrop shape. So I thought that was kind of fun. So those are the cards that the kit was designed to make, but of course, Stampin' Up! Always encourages all sorts of creativity to come up with additional ideas as well. Hey, Mary. Hey, Teresa. Welcome. Okay, so let me start. I think tonight I'll start by showing you my extra ones that I made that we're not going to make together. So let's see. I did this, and I tried with these. I tried to coordinate in some of the pieces from the coordinating set that's in the catalog. Uh-oh, I don't know where my catalog went. Oh, it's in my bedroom. Darn it, I was going to show it to you on the pages and show you all the pieces that are available. But there's stamps, there's dies, there's coordinating designer series paper, there's some really pretty ribbon. We're going to use that ribbon tonight. So it really is a neat kit, and you don't need the paper pumpkin kit to do stuff with the stuff with the items that are in the catalog, but you can, if you do have the paper pumpkin kit, you can put them together because they do coordinate. So anyway, so here is one of the cards I made, just very simple. So we got that one. Then I got this one with that cute little frog, and I took some of our brushed brass butterflies and put them on here just to give it a little something extra. We've got this one. This one uses our framed florets dies for that little frame there, and our stylish shapes dies to create that banner. And then I took some of the die cuts that are in the paper pumpkin kit and just put them on here. Or this is one bigger strip of flowers, and I cut them all down to be able to put them on in this way. And this paper that you see here, this designer series paper, is in the pack of coordinating designer series paper as well. These papers here are also in that coordinating pack. And then finally, this one I think is my favorite. We've got this one, and this rain paper is in the coordinating pack of designer series paper. And you can't really see this, I think, on the camera because it's very, very subtle. But I took my Wink of Stella and went over some of those little white raindrops and made them sparkly. I guess you can see a little bit of the shimmer there when I do that. And then this is one of the card fronts that came with the kit, and I cut it up to make his umbrella and his hat and his little coat. Isn't that cute? Okay, so, oh, and that's the inside, just very simple. Are you heading out? Okay, so are you guys ready to make some cards tonight? Thank you, Teresa. Okay, so the first card we're going to make tonight uses the Playing in the Rain stamps. This is the coordinating stamp set that I was talking about, and the Playing in the Rain dies. This can be bought together as a bundle, and you can see you can cut out those. You can cut out, let's see what else is there, the flowers. You can cut out the little puddle. There's butterflies. I have no idea what that shape is. If any of you can come up with an idea of what that is, I have no idea. At first, I kind of thought maybe it was the ties on the kite, but I think those are the ties on the kite where they put a few of them. So I don't know what that is. So again, if anybody knows what it is, let me know. There's a little bridge here. There's a tree stump. There's the umbrella and some grass. So there's a lot of different things available with this bundle. And then I use my stylish shapes, which I do use quite a bit. Okay, so we'll move that out of the way for the moment. Okay, now the card we're going to make first, I did something with the kites. So I just decorated my envelope. You know, I like to decorate my envelopes. And then the card itself is actually quite simple. So let's go ahead and get started. Lucy, get down. Okay, oops. Looks like I have a little bit of foam adhesive here stuck where it doesn't need to be. Okay, so we're going to start by decorating the envelope. I like to do that first. And all you got to do for this is take just a piece of scrap paper and put it under the flap. And the ink colors that we're going to use for this are Balmy Blue, Polished Pink, and Mango Melody. And then the stamps that I need are the kite and the kite string. So I'm going to open these all up. I love it when my ink pads open for me easily when I'm on camera. Okay, so I'm going to actually just start by stamping all of my kites. I'm not going to worry about the strings because you know what? If the strings, whoops, oh, that wasn't good. If the strings overlap the kites themselves, that's okay. That's not a big deal. Okay, so let's get more of those blue ones. And I go off the edge like that. It just adds flow to what you're stamping when you do that. Okay. And then I'm going to take my little string and I'm going to do the strings the same color as their kites. So for example, my Mango Melody kites have Mango Melody strings. Oops, I only needed those two. Okay, and then let's do the pink ones. Only have a few of those as well. And then finally, try that off. We'll get the blue ones here. There. And all of our kites have strings now. And then let's do all the rest of our stamping since we've got all the ink colors out. So we've got our banner. And then we have 3 kites that I cut out with the dies. Now the kit did come with some die cut kites that I did use on some of the other cards. But for this, I liked just using the ones die cut out of white cardstock. And the reason for that is because the ones that are in the kit have black outlines. And this is such a soft card with its soft colors that I felt like the black outline was just a little too much on there. So what I did is now we're going to do a kite in each of the colors. And because these are the photopolymer stamps, you can see right where you're stamping. Hey, Kathy, welcome. Okay, so got my 3 kites. Then I'm going to take my sentiment, and the sentiment that I'm using, where are you? Oh, this is from the coordinating stamp set. This is not from the kit. It says, "Oh, happy day." We're going to stamp that in Mango Melody. And I'm going to stamp it just a little bit to the left of center. Whoops, it's a little crooked, but that's okay. Okay, it was really funny. Today I went to a craft fair, a big craft fair with my mom. They have a big one here every spring and every, well, like this time of year, if you want to call this spring, and then one every fall with all the Christmassy kind of stuff. So my mom and I went today, and every time we passed a booth that had cards, "You could do this, you could do this." It was really cute. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put our card together since we have all of our pieces. Move these out of the way for the moment. Oops, maybe. Okay, so you can see these see the teeny tiny little bows that I cut out? I'm gonna keep them in the bag for right now so I don't lose them. Our card base is just your standard half of a sheet of cardstock. It's 8.5 by 5.5. It's scored in the middle at 4¼ inches. And then we're gonna fold it and give it a nice sharp crease with our bone folder. Okay, and then I have a piece of balmy blue. My balmy blue piece is just 4 inches by 5¼ Oops, I have a little edge that's sticking up a little just from my blade. I think my blade is starting to dull a little bit, and it causes the edge to stick up a little. When that happens, all you have to do is take your bone folder and go over it, and it pushes it back down. And now this is one of the card fronts that came with the card, and I just cut off the piece of it, and I trimmed it down so that I could put it here on this. Now, let me check. Yep, I used dimensionals. So let's go ahead and put 1,000 of them on there, because you know how I like to put, 1,000 dimensionals on things. And by the way, next month's Paper Pumpkin Kit, I forgot to tell you about. Next month's Paper Pumpkin Kit, next month is the 10-year anniversary of Stampin' Up! Offering Paper Pumpkin. So as a special gift, there is an additional stamp set in the pack. So if that interests you, you have until March 10th to order that kit. I'm gonna pop this up here. You have till March 10th to order that kit, and then they start shipping them out around the 11th, so that you would have it. Okay, I think we're good. Well, I kind of want one right there. I don't want this to sag at all. Also, if you like to do, hey Jennifer, welcome. If you like creating with the kits that we offer, Stampin' Up! Offers some really amazing kits, but they aren't in our catalog. You have to go online to see them. And there's a new one that they just released on March 1st, and it's something kaleidoscope, and it's really pretty looking. I'm very excited about it. And something that I decided to do is I'm going to be offering a kaleidoscope kit online class. And all you have to do to get in the class is purchase the kit. So when you go online, if you use my March host code right there and you order the kit before March 15th, then I will send you the information to join us in a special chat room where I don't know yet if it's going to be Zoom or if it's going to be a Facebook room, but I will send out that information. And only the people who buy the kit are going to be invited to participate in the class. So that's just kind of something fun. It's going to be an alternate ideas just like this, but it's going to be exclusive to people that have purchased the kit. And you have till March 15th to do that. And then I'll have some additional consumable products that I will send out to you because you'll need them for the alternate ideas. So again, that's why I say you have to order by the 15th, because I need time to put those kits together and get them mailed out to you. Okay, so now we're just going to glue this piece onto the front of our card. And just kind of check, make sure your margins are relatively the same. I forgot to do my inside piece. I like to decorate the insides of my cards. Another demonstrator that I have watched a ton of her videos, her name's Kelly Atchison, and one of the things that she loves to say is the party shouldn't end when you open the card. And I can't say it better than that, so I always say it myself, but I give her the credit. But it's true. So even if I don't stamp anything in the card, I like to put like just a little pop of color, a die cut, just a strip like this, just something so that there's just a little something on the inside of the card, just like I like to decorate my envelopes. Okay, next we have this banner, and we're going to go ahead and put it on here about like that. And the reason we're going to put it on first is it gives us an idea for the placement for our kites. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of just liquid glue here, a little bit here. We're going to go like this. Put that on. And now I want to put a dimensional under there. You can see under that piece right there. Whoops. And so I'm just going to sneak it under. Sometimes I like to wait to put the dimensionals in place until I have placed the piece like this, because then I know exactly where I need them. Especially when it's a piece that you don't want the dimensionals across the whole piece. You have to make sure you only get it in certain areas. So I just stick my dimensional to my Take Your Pick tool. You guys know that my Take Your Pick tool is my all-time favorite tool. I use it for about a bazillion different things. Okay. Oops. Get out of there, little stinker. Okay. So I'm going to slip this one under here as well. There. Now that just gives it a little extra support under there. And let's go ahead and place our kites. So this first one, I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on the top part of my kite. And there, maybe about like that. Now I want some dimensional under the bottom part of that kite there to give it a little extra support, but we'll wait and do all of them together. This guy that's going to go in the middle, I'm going to need to cut a bit of that tail off because you can see it goes too far. And I am going to go ahead and put a dimensional on the back of the kite. And let's see, I want to see about how much of that tail I wanted to cut off. Yep, that looks good. Put him in the middle. That, and then we're going to do our pink one. Again, I'm just going to put a little bit at the top of the kite. Let's move that one up just a little bit higher than our blue one. Oops. Okay, so now we're going to put some dimensional pieces under the kite, and I don't know that there's enough space for a whole dimensional. I could use our mini dimensionals. I have some of those, but I just always grab my big ones and cut them. I don't know why. Okay, so I'm gonna get the back off of it, maybe. Get it with my Take Your Pick tool. And then I'm just gonna slide it under there. Now I'm gonna do the same on the pink one, or under the pink one, I should say. Oops. There. Now this card is almost done. I was going to say it's done except for the embellishments, but we got to do all of our little bows. Look at all these tiny little bows. Okay, so I'm going to put, what I did for the bows is I took the card fronts and that had there's the blue check, there was pink check, and there was yellow check. And so I just cut the bows out of that. And we're going to put blue ties on the blue ones. We're going to put yellow ties on the yellow one and pink on the pink. Just sticking with the color that was given to us. Push that down, let it sit for a sec. Let's do another blue one here. Whoops, that one's pink. There's another blue one. Whoops, they're so tiny. And you could use tweezers to hold on to these because they are awfully tiny. Especially if it bothers you to get glue on your fingers, because you do get glue on your fingers when you're dealing with little pieces this tiny. And then let's see. Oh, I'm missing a blue one. Oh, here it is. It was hiding in the bag. Okay. There. And we probably only need one on the yellow one because it's so low. Hold it for just a second so that glue can get sort of tacky. And now we'll do our pink ones. And last but not least, Lucy loves her ice cubes. And, you know, we got snow last week and now it's, we have a bunch of like, where it's been squashed down on our porch or whatever and become big ice clumps. So she keeps going outside and getting icebergs to bring in the house. Okay, so now we're going to take our little epoxy dots and we're just going to put a few on here. Again, I'm using my Take Your Pick tool because I use it for everything. Oops, I don't want it quite that far over. One right there. There we go. First card is done. What do you guys think? Cute, right? No, Lucy, that's not for you. Okay, so clean up my little mess here before we get started making the next one. The next mess, that is. Okay. And put my little epoxy dots away so I don't lose them. Okay, let's see. Hey, John, welcome. Okay, so the next card, for this one, I brought in our gingham embossing folder. I really like this embossing folder because it's quite subtle and it dresses stuff up really well, whether you're working with something that's kind of fun and cute or wanting something a little bit pretty. It works for both. So let me show you the card we're making. So this is the card we're going to make. This was the inside. Remember the one card that when you popped it open, the rainbow was on the inside? So I cut up the inside of a card to make this one. And you can see I used the embossing folder on some of our designer, or on some of my cardstock. This is Old Olive. And I just embossed it and put it on. It coordinates with the piece right here that's embossed in the center. So let's go ahead and get started on this one. And this is what the inside looks like. Okay, so for this card, let's do our envelope first. And for the strip that I use on the envelope, I just cut a strip that's 2.5 inches by 6 inches. That works really well for me. It's a little bit bigger than what I need, and I like that because then I'm not having to be so precise with it that I end up messing up. Precision is not exactly my strong suit, in case you haven't noticed by now. So, there was your musical interlude for the evening. There could be more, we never know. Okay, excuse me. So I've got my piece here that was embossed. Sometimes when you look at it, you can see a side that looks better sticking, you know, being forward facing than the other side. I don't really think there is a difference on this one. Oops, had some extra little yellow bows from that last card. So I've glued that down. And now we're going to just trim off the extra. You guys know the drill. And, you know, I have had people comment that it looks like I just cut these out so well and they could never do that. You guys, I am doing it quickly, and I appreciate the compliment, but I want you to know I end up cutting off little bits of the envelope. It's not always straight. Sometimes extra pieces stick out. So it really doesn't matter, because when you get done, it looks great anyway. So don't let that be what stops you from decorating your envelope if you're afraid that you just can't get it with that precision. Again, precision is not my strong suit. If it's something you see me do a whole lot, then I guarantee you it does not require precision. Okay, so our card base, this is our So Saffron. It's a half of a sheet, 8.5 by 5.5, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. Bone folder. Okay, set that right there for the moment. And now we've got 2 pieces of basic white. One is for the inside of the card and one is for our front piece. So let's go ahead and, actually we can't do our inside quite yet. I was gonna say let's do the inside, but we've got some other stuff to do first. Let's take care of this piece right here that's gonna go along the middle of our card. But first what we're gonna do is we're going to, ooh, I cut that really long, didn't I? We're gonna tie this around here and tie a bow. Sometimes when it's like this, and you're not gonna see the back, I will use some tear and tape and just tape down that ribbon. And I think I'm gonna do that. It just holds it in place for me. It makes it easier to tie my bow when I wrap it around the front, especially when it's a small piece of cardstock like that moves so easily. So let's get it right kind of in the middle, right there. And now, and I'm going to tie my bow way over here. Now, a recommendation that I have for you is most of us, when we're tying bows, as we tie it, our ribbon kind of loosens and it's not as tight. So what I do is I start with it pulled a little tight to where my cardstock actually was bending. But by the time I'm finished, I've loosened up on it and it's about as tight as I wanted it. So now I just kind of play with my bow, make sure I get my loops the way I want them, get my tails laying the way I want them, and we'll trim down the tails here in just a little bit. And I'm thinking I'm going to find that that's not far enough over, so I'm going to pull up that tape just to allow me to slide my ribbon over a little bit, just like so. Let's see here, I just want that bow to be a tiny bit smaller. There we go. And I'm gonna wait to glue it down because I wanna make sure if I need to, well, I'm gonna go ahead and glue it down. I'm gonna make sure my bow stays way over there. And let's put some adhesive on here. When you have an embossed piece like this, I recommend using a little bit extra adhesive because it just doesn't seem to stick as well when it's got all those, what's the word? The dimensions to it. So I do recommend use a little extra. Some people prefer to use liquid glue for things like this because the glue seeps into those little nooks and crannies, and that is totally up to you. But I do recommend, at the very least, use extra glue or extra adhesive. Okay, so now got that piece done. Let's set that aside for the moment. Now I have all these little pieces where I took that rainbow, right? Remember the rainbow? And I cut them out. Now I want to make sure they stay in order because you want them to create the same image on your card, on the card front, as they do when they're together. So you want to make sure you have them in order. And we're going to glue each of them to a piece here of my Blushing Bride cardstock. These strips, by the way, are 3/4 of an inch by 3/4 of an inch by 3 1/2. No, it ends here. 3 3/4. So it's 3 3/4. 3 3/4 this way, and it's a 3/4 of an inch this way. And then the piece of the Blushing Bride is just a 1/8 of an inch bigger. So it's 7/8 of an inch wide, and then it's, I can't remember what dimension we said this was. It's 3 7/8 long. 3 7/8 this way, and then 7/8 that way. So let's go ahead and start gluing all these pieces together really quick. Just a little bit of adhesive. Doesn't take a whole lot. Our liquid glue is so strong, it works really, really well. And you don't want it to start to buckle your paper or warp your paper. And when you get your paper too wet, it buckles and warps. So you do want to be cognizant of how much glue you put on there. And like I said, it's a nice strong glue, so you really don't need a ton of it. Okay. This does take a minute to get all these done, but then once they're done, the card comes together really quickly. Another reason I like to use the liquid glue on pieces like this, the margins are very, very small. So it's hard sometimes when you just eyeball where you're laying it down, you're not laying it down where your margins are going to be relatively the same. So if you use the liquid glue, you've got a little time before it gets tacky and sets. And so you can wiggle it around a little bit to line it up exactly where you want it. So I do recommend on pieces like this using the liquid glue. We carry several different types of adhesive. We have the liquid glue, and some people use the liquid glue on their entire cards. You'll find that I kind of go back and forth with what I use. Sometimes it's just what's right in front of me, and sometimes I have a purpose behind which one I chose. We have one that's in a runner. This is called our Stamp and Seal, and we have Stamp and Seal and Stamp and Seal Plus. I prefer the Plus. It's just a little bit stronger adhesive. We have our tear and tape. We have adhesive sheets where you can put something on your cardstock and then die cut it. Now you have a sticker. So there's lots of options as far as adhesive goes with Stampin' Up. Okay, So I've got 6 pieces, and you're going to take one piece from the end. It doesn't really matter which end you take it from, but you want to take it from an end. So I'm going to take this one because it has all 5 of the colors. And you're going to take your biggest piece of your basic white, because this is the piece that's going to go on the inside. And we're just going to glue it right there to that white piece. So line it up. We've got a teeny, teeny, tiny little margin there. There we go. And now we're going to glue this down inside the card. Line up your margins. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're just going to put all of these ones in place on top of the ribbon, but like over this way. And that's why I decided to wait to cut my tails on my bow, because if I need to adjust the size of my bow, I can. So let's go ahead and start putting all these pieces on. Whoops. We're actually putting them on this white piece first. And I'll tell you the dimensions of it in just a moment. By the way, the white piece on the inside is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. There we go. This piece is, looks like I got it to 4 5/8 by 4 inches. Okay. And you just line them up. Take care to make sure that they're straight and they're lined up, you know, the same height as one another. Got a really small margin at the bottom of this one. And the thing is, if you line these up and you find that you, oops, I got them too close and now I have too much white on the end, just trim that piece off. Make sure this is going to fit. Yep, we're good. Oops, it's a little crooked there. And that's why I used the liquid glue. It was crooked and I was able to just slide it into place. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to put some dimensionals on the back. This is the type of card that I would typically use my foam adhesive sheets, because I can just put a big sheet on the back, but I am out of the sheets right now. But if you have never used them, I promise you, you'll use them and you will never not use them after that, because they are really convenient. You know, instead of having all these different dimensionals where you have to peel off all the little backs and then find them everywhere later, because they're like Christmas glitter that show up, you know, like Christmas tinsel that shows up year round. It is quick and it's easy. I really like the sheets. Okay, so now we're going to line this up on our card. So it's going to be up against the knot of the bow. I want it centered on my card, which ends up being kind of right up against that knot. Make sure I've got it straight. Okay, now I think we're okay cutting our, trimming our tails here. There. That looks good. Now let's go ahead and do our banner. And with this, I just use a scrap. It's about a 1/2 inch long. I'm sorry, 1/2 inch wide. And I'm going to use the old olive ink. And my sentiment, it's this kind of long one. It says, "Friends in any kind of weather, Ooh, I'll even stamp it right side up. I think that sounds like a fabulous idea. So I'm going to stamp it on here. Make sure it's straight, or as straight as I can get it anyway. There we go. And now I just need, because this end was already trimmed from when I did my sample one, so now I just need to trim this side. And we're going to use some dimensionals here. I love my dimensionals. I just love giving the card that little bit of pop. I think it adds interest to your card. Dimensionals are not that expensive, so to add them to everything, I like it. I think it's a little something extra that the card needs. Sharon really likes the rainbow paper. Yeah, it's just the inside of one of the card fronts that was in the kit, and I cut it up and used it in this way. Okay, so now I'm going to just line that up right there. Yep, that looks straight, I think. Put away my ink pad. And then we're going to put some more of those epoxy dots on here. So let's see, put one right here by my bow. Put one maybe up here like that. And then we'll put one over here. Just kind of in random places, but the eyeball likes odd numbers and also likes triangles. It kind of draws your attention to the sentiment. So that's what I usually try to do. Okay. So here's card number 2. Isn't that fun? With our pretty little rainbow. Got the rainbow on the inside as well. And our embossed flap on our envelope. So we're going to set that one aside, clean up the mess, so we can make another mess. Okay. Okay, finally, our last card, last but not least. Now, any of you who really know me know that with these peekaboo fronts, there was no way I could make all the cards and not have one of them be a shaker card, right? So I've got a shaker card for you. So here's my envelope. I stamped it and decorated it, or colored it, and then here's our shaker card. These little bits here, these little flowers, I wish I knew what they were called, but I don't have my catalog. Gosh darn it. But they are also in this suite of coordinating products that I was talking about. And this is the ribbon that is in that in those coordinating products as well. So let's go ahead and make our little shaker card. Oh, and let me show you the inside. Another pretty simple. And the blue and the yellow just complement each other so well. They really, the colors make each other pop really well. Okay, so card base, your standard card base. It's a half of a sheet, 8.5 by 5.5, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. And take the bone folder, get a nice sharp crease there. Set that aside for the moment. Let's do our envelope. There's a lot of parts to this card, but shakers are really, really quite simple to make. They're intimidating to people when they haven't made them before, but once you make one and you realize just how simple they are, it's like, oh. So let's go ahead and start by decorating our envelope. Putting a little scrap paper under my flap there, and I'm going to use my black Memento ink, and I'm going to stamp the flowers kind of in a random pattern all over. There they are. Ooh, that one kind of got yucky, but that's okay. And now we're going to color these. I have my light Granny Apple Green Stampin' Blend marker. And I also have my dark, is this the dark one? Yeah, my dark Daffodil Delight. And so here's what I did for these. Start with I colored the center of the center flowers with my Daffodil Delight. That bothers me, but I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna be a big girl and suck it up. And now I'm gonna color these little tulips. That's what I think they are, is little tulips. And that way I have both white and yellow flowers, just like the little shaker bits in our card. And I'm not worrying about doing a lot of shading on these because it's just the envelope and they're small. Okay, and then finally let's just color some of those little leaves with our light granny apple green. Uh-oh, have a flower we forgot about. Don't want anyone to feel left out. Is this the light? No, this is the dark granny apple green, sorry. If you like what you're seeing tonight and you're having fun, I would love it if you'd give me likes or thumbs up. If you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook, it helps the algorithm know that, oh, this is something people might enjoy watching, and it puts it out there for more people. But I also enjoy seeing it as well, I'll be honest. Oh, John, thank you very much. The little shaker bits are called loose daisy embellishments, and you get a little container of them. You get quite a few, actually. Loose daisy embellishments. Okay, thank you, John. So now let's move our envelope out of the way. Let's get going on our shaker piece. Okay, first I have a piece of our acetate sheets that I have cut down. And the funny thing is I was out of full sheets of it, so I only had scraps. So I had to make sure my window was small enough for the scraps that I had. And in this case, you can see that it wasn't. So what I decided to do is create this little piece behind it. I'll show you on this one. So there was like a little mat, because then I could use a smaller acetate piece, or window sheets, I think is what we call them in the catalog. So what I did this part ahead of time. I just took a pencil and I did my lines where I was, I think 3/4 of an inch from each edge, because I want to show you how I cut out the square in the middle. If you have a Stampin' Up! Trimmer, or another trimmer that is like this, where you can lift it and start the blade wherever you want, it's great for things like this. So I'm lining it up with the line right. Oh, you probably can't see that. Let me show you. I'm lining it up, so when I set my blade down, there's like a little tick mark on my blade. It lines up with that line that I drew. And I'm going to go all the way up until that tick mark lines up with this line right here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it. And that does not seem right. You cut it too far over. Hold on. Here. I didn't put it far enough over. That's going to show. So hang on. I'm going to get another piece of my cardstock here so we can redo this. Okay, so this piece, let's see what the measurements are. This piece is 4.5 by 3.5, it looks like. Okay, 4.5 by 3.5. I think this is only 4.25 going this way. So, okay. Well, I tried to get ahead of the game by drawing the little lines for you, so you see that, but now you're going to see how I drew the lines. Okay. I guess I need to keep that up there. So first, I just took a pencil, a mechanical pencil, and I make my lead go out really, really far because you need your lead to be long. I need to get new lead here pretty soon. Okay, so now I wanted it to be 3/4 of an inch from each edge, so I'm just going around like this, and I just put my pencil right in the middle of that groove. So 3/4 of an inch, and again, right in the middle of the groove. And don't worry about that showing, because when we put it in our card, we're going to flip it over and use the side that doesn't have the lines on it anyway. Okay. So let's try this again. Line this up by 3/4 of an inch. Okay. And I'm going to start where I drop it so that that little tick mark lines up with this line, and I go up to where the tick mark lines up with that line. And then I turn it. Again, the tick mark lines up with that line, up to the next line. Flip it. Line to line. And line to line. Now, I know I didn't go all the way to the edge in some places, and that's fine. I can just take my little paper snips. Sometimes you can just pop it out with your fingers. Like there's just such a small piece holding it in there that, yeah, I didn't even have to take my snips. Okay, now I have that little frame. Now, when you cut on the back side of your paper, it does give you this little ridge that sticks up, kind of like what I was talking about earlier when I said when your blade starts dulling and that ridge sticks up. So all you have to do is go over it with your bone folder. It flattens it back out. Not a big deal. So now what we're going to do is we're going to line this up behind our little check mark, gingham, whatever it is, piece. So we've got that little frame just like so. So I'm going to take my liquid glue, and I'm just going to go right around the edge. You don't want a lot because you don't want it to seep out through the front. Oops. Oh, okay, let's see here. There we go. And the liquid glue, again, allows me to kind of slide it around a bit to make sure I get everything lined up the way I want it lined up. But you do have to move fast before it gets tacky, and it's already starting to get tacky. Okay, so, okay, that looks pretty good to me. It's a little crooked, I think, but that's okay. That's okay. So now you're going to take your acetate sheet and put it over the back, just like that. Now what I do with mine, you can use really any kind of adhesive you want, but you do want to be careful so that the liquid glue doesn't seep out everywhere. And the liquid glue doesn't really like the acetate all that much. It takes forever for it to dry. It's very slippery. It doesn't stay in place very well. So what I do is I just take my tear and tape, take some little pieces just like this to hold it in place, and they're not going to show. And I probably don't even need to do all 4 sides because it just holds it there, but I did. Okay, so now the next step, we are going to take our foam adhesive strips. I love these. They last a long time because it's not like you use them on every card, but they are fantastic for creating shaker cards because you want to have a nice solid outline of the foam so that when you shake your card, they're bumping up against that foam adhesive, but they're not going to fall out because you've got a solid line of that foam all the way around. So even if you're doing circles, this stuff bends and does weird shapes really, really easily. It's very nice. Okay, so I'm going to start. You're going to go close to the edge, the inner edge here like this, but you be careful. You don't want it so close that they can see it from the front. And I'm just laying it down like this all the way around. Let's see here. Now I have this little short piece. I'll go right up against that. Oh, I think I want it back a little bit further. There. Now, I could put it on the front of my card like this, but I want some foam on these parts too, so that it is supported on the outer edge. And you could use dimensionals there, but here's the thing. Our different foam adhesives that we have, you know, there's the dimensionals, there's foam adhesive sheets, there's these strips. They're not always the same height. So whatever you use, like in this case, we use the foam adhesive strips, use that on your outer edge as well, so that you know that it's all the same height, okay? And we're gonna wait to put that on until, oh, actually, let's do that now. As you can see, mine have been well loved and it's almost time to get a new package. Once I learned how to make shaker cards, because I was always very intrigued by them, and once I learned how simple they are, I started making them a lot. See, again, I'm just going all the way around. It's easy, it's quick. And whatever you have left over, like for example, I'll have some left over after I do this edge right there probably. You just stick it back on this sheet and it keeps till the next time you're ready to use it. So just like that. Now when you're doing this outer edge, what I'm about to say doesn't matter so much, but when you are doing the inner piece where you're going to have your shaker window, make sure you don't have gaps where you've cut off a piece and started a new one, because you don't want your shaker pieces to get stuck up there or to be able to fall out, okay? All right, oh, there it is. I try to put things away as I go because it's just such an overwhelming mess if I don't. Okay, now, get all my little pieces here. I have my little shaker bits. You know what, let's do the inside piece of our card because then that's done, okay? So I just have my little strip of the yellow gingham, and I'm just gonna put a little bit of glue there. Just like so. Let's see if this is the one. No. Okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna put it right there like that, and we're gonna glue it to the inside of our card really quickly. Then it's done and it's out of the way. Especially when you're doing a shaker card and there's so many pieces, that in itself can be overwhelming and make it feel like it's more complicated. And so when you can take care of bits and pieces as you go and just get them out of the way, then you're not so overwhelmed by it all. Okay, so back to our shaker. So we've now created our front with our little frame. We've got our little window. And now we're gonna put our loose daisy embellishments. Hey, Marcia, welcome. And then sort of little loose daisy embellishments. I'm gonna just cut this because I don't want them to stick to that little sticky piece on their way out, because that's the kind of thing that would happen to me. And I'm just gonna pour them in there, just like that. Come out wherever you are. There. There. And you don't want to put too many bits in your shaker, or what happens is it fills them up and then they don't have a whole lot of room for movement, and that kind of defeats the purpose of the shaker. So now the next piece that we have is this background. This was actually the inside of the yellow gingham card, and I liked that kind of sky blue, and we're just going to put it over our card just like this. Okay, and so let's pull all of our adhesive backing off. Be careful that as you're doing that, you don't accidentally lift your card like you saw, like I just did, because you don't want all your shaker bits to go flying. Last one right there. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and just kind of line this up on the back of my card. And I did make this piece just slightly smaller than my card front, you know, by like 1/8 of an inch or whatever, just because I wanted to make sure it didn't stick out at all, and it doesn't. So there's our shaker piece. Isn't that adorable? I love it. Let's go ahead and glue it down onto our card. And just kind of try to make sure your margins are about the same everywhere and your piece is on straight. And we have this little banner. This banner was a piece in the kit. And we're gonna stamp the message that says, "Wishing you sunshine and smiles." That's the one. And we're going to use our balmy blue ink. And line it up. There we go. I just love this kit. This is probably my favorite paper pumpkin kit ever of all the ones that I've done. And you know I do them every month. Because I just love this whole suite of products so much that when I found out that the kit was going to coordinate with it, I was so excited. Okay, now what we're gonna do, did I put, no, okay. We're just going to take a little bit of glue here, and I'm not, make sure I'm looking at this the right direction. I don't want my glue to go all the way to the top because well, I'll show you here. It does lay down a little bit over the acetate. So there we go. I guess it wouldn't matter because it's not like it would show. And I'm centering it like so. And then we have our cute little bunny die cut. He was in the kit. But you could take one of the stamped images and do this also. And let's see here. And here he is. Isn't he cute? He's just so cute. I love it. And then I have some of this great ribbon. This ribbon is so beautiful. Look at this. It's kind of a gradient where it starts out with the balmy blue and down to white. I think it's so pretty. It's super duper lightweight, so it's very easy to tie bows with. And every time I say that, then I have trouble tying my bows. Okay, so I've got it here. And then it did take me a while of playing with it to just get my loops and everything, the sizes that I wanted them, get everything to line up quite right. The struggle is real, folks. Okay. It's kind of laying a little bit funny. Pull that tail down. It's like this one's just a little bit bigger than the other one. There we go. Now what I do is I wait to trim it until I've got it on my card and I can see where everything lays. So I'm going to take a glue dot and my take your pick tool, and I'm going to put that glue dot right on the back of the knot of my bow. And I'm going to put it right in the corner, just like that. And that gives me a chance to kind of look at it and say, okay, where do I want to cut my tails? There we go. And that was our final card, you guys. What do you think? I love this little card. I love this whole set. Have I mentioned that I really love this set? Okay, so let's clean up the mess and we'll take a peek at all the cards that we made tonight and then the other cards that I have as samples. If you want to sign up for Paper Pumpkin for future kits, I would love to earn your business. You can order it at heathersides.stampinup.net. If you would use this host code, that really helps me a lot. Thank you, John. It helps me to continue to provide videos for free. And on my Wednesday nights, I give away prizes, so it helps me with the prizes and such. But if your order is over $150, please don't use the host code. You'll have some free stuff coming to you from Stampin' Up, and I want to make sure that you are the one who receives those free things because you earned them. Again, a reminder about my Kaleidoscope Kit class I have coming up. My free gift to you when you order it is free admission to the class. So when you order, make sure to use that host code, and then I will see your order and I will send you a confirmation that you'll be in the class. And then when I have everything set up and ready, I will send you all the links and everything that you need. Oh, and Presley's barking at me. Hey, Presley. Okay. All of a sudden, I can't see the comments on my computer, but I can see them very quickly on my phone. Okay, so moving some stuff out of the way here. Let's take a look at what we've got tonight. And if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you like to watch videos on YouTube, if you go to YouTube and look up Stamp Happenings, you'll find my page. And I always upload these videos to YouTube when I'm done. And if you're watching on YouTube, I would love it if you would like the video and be sure to subscribe, because then you get, you can also then click the little bell icon, and it gives you, almost said warnings, notifications when I upload new videos. Okay, so we've got this cute little shaker card that we made. We've got the rainbow. We have these adorable little kites. We also have this cute little gray fox. And the little ducky. And the frogs and the butterflies. And then, of course, the cards that Stampin' Up! Provided the instructions for how to make these ones. Wait a minute. Oh, this one was mine. That one wasn't a Stampin' Up! Idea. That one was mine. This is a Stampin' Up! Idea. And that one's a Stampin' Up! Idea. And finally, this adorable little ducky on the pink is also a Stampin' Up! Idea. So you can see this kit makes so many different cards. None of these are the same. And I have, what is it, 10 cards, 9 cards? All of them different, all made with the kit. And yeah, I added a few pieces of my own just to have a little bit of a difference. But they were all cards that the kit made. So if you are interested in Paper Pumpkin, you can buy it in 1 month, 3 months. I'm sorry, you can buy 1 month trial, you can buy 3 month, 6 month, or 12 month subscriptions. And you can pause it at any time if you need to do that, or if there's a kit coming up that you're like, that's not really my thing, and you can pause it for that month. So you have complete control there. So Paper Pumpkin's a great way to go. And like I said, it also makes great gifts for people who are creative and like doing stuff like this, but don't have a lot of supplies or don't have the room for a lot of supplies, because the kit provides everything that they need. So I hope you guys had a great time tonight. I know I did. I love doing these videos with you. If you have any questions or concerns or ideas, you can contact me at stamphappenings@gmail.com, or you can send me a private message here on Facebook. But be sure to check out my website. We have some online exclusives right now that Stampin' Up! Just made available on March 1st. And the only way to order them is online. So the only way to see what those products are, and there's some pretty great ones, is to go to my website and check it out. I hope you guys have a great night and a great rest of your weekend. And hopefully I'll see you next Wednesday when I do my weekly live. Same time, same place, 6 p.m. here on my website, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Have a great night, you guys.